What is up, you muffin munching muggles? Welcome to Fiction and Reality, where we help you, yes, you become the most devilishly gifted human that you know you are and that you knew you always could be. And making you a devilishly gifted human does not simply stop with enhancing your writing prowess. There is another half, the reality in which you live, either floundering aimlessly, being spun round and round but in place by the ragged rope, woven with distraction, needed with every and anything that will strip you of your burning ambitions. Or you'll be bestowed with the acuity to cast judgment and make conducive decisions that push you towards the gilded trail that is spackling with every aspiration, dream, and goal you ever wanted to achieve. And that is what makes this channel different. Words are subjective, but actions are concrete. And if you don't have a pillar of values, ideologies, and philosophy, discipline, you'll never know what words to speak, what actions to take, if any actions or words are warranted at all. So today I challenge you to take action and explore with me why you should act on your dreams and why you should create something before you take your last dying breath. Now, why should you create something? For one, it allows you to learn who you are. Who else knows you better than you? Well, how much do you really know about yourself? Most know what they think of other people, how they think of others, what actions they take in response to how others make them feel. But how many of us sit down and ask ourselves through self-introspection why we think the things we think, why we take the actions we take, and the physical form and medium in which I thread my own worldview into reality? Practice self-introspection is through my novel, as well as through the words, thoughts, and actions of the characters that live between those two leaflets of leather. Understand you don't have to create a 1,000-word novel to know how to crack the shell of ambiguity encasing your core, or take on a 2-hour film project, create a catalog of dress designs in one sitting. It's daunting, I know, but try to work up in a stepwise fashion, if you must, towards this grandiose dream or goal you have in mind. You could possibly start by sitting down, maybe for 30 minutes a day, for others even less, and journal. But don't just focus on writing what happened throughout the day. Focus on interpreting, observing the behavior of yourself and others, and asking yourself why they acted the way they acted. What reward did those actions relish? What words were spoken? And what did those words achieve? Sow these ideas into your own veil of creativity and watch the seeds you've planted begin to slowly grow and blossom one by one, and the why rolling closer and closer into view. Yet another reason to throw yourself into the embrace of creativity is to tear yourself away from distractions. The average human attention span dropped from 12 seconds in 2000 to 8 seconds in 2015, which is shorter than the 9-second attention span of a goldfish. What's that?
Squirrel!
The average American checks their phone 96 times a day and spends 5 hours per day on their phones on average, with 92% of people using it during leisure time, while 70% use it during work hours. Did you hear that? A goldfish. Nemo, Dory, the snack that smiles back. We're distracted, and it shows. Now, I'm not old, as you can see. I don't have any gray or anything. I'm not old, but I've endured a lot of life experiences personally that has shaped my mind into what it is today. And it's no secret that I viciously guard the clock ticking on my wall, that hourglass of life that's dribbling with sand, slowly but surely sinking away. Because time is one of the most precious things you have. And where you choose to spend it, whether it be with loved ones, pursuing your passion, with yourself, or partying, drinking, will weave the strings of your fate and decide what path in which you'll forge down. And I know from personal experience that even the most precious things in your life can be gone just like that. So protect time in this world of distractions, in a world that only wants you to consume and feed a heartless machine with no regard for how you want to spend your time. The art of creation ignites a bristling passion that for many will keep you awake long past 12 a.m., rips you away from the established norms of social engagement, which in many cases are fueled by the urge of immediate gratification. Why should you create something? So that it frees you from having to entertain others like a jester, or bend the knee before the still cold machine and ask if it'll spare you a second for pursuing your passion. spending time with your family, or simply bathing in the sun or going for a leisurely walk. Many, including myself, are roped with the sickle and chain ball, lunking it around wherever we're allowed to roam. And for many, the only chance to break free is by wielding your dreams, passions, and ambitions as a chisel hammer. Cold as iron but keen with its strikes, careful as to not crumble the entire statue of stability. And that creation can and will free you to allocate your time wherever and whenever you want it. And of course, there is a price to pay for pursuing it. What is that price, you ask? Well, it's time itself, or rather where you choose to cleave its links. It may mean you possibly missing a family reunion or a few nights out with friends, dousing out the alcohol, skipping out on parties, or sleeping 5 or 6 hours a night, waking before the rooster crows. And you may be labeled as an outlier, an outcast, a blight, an obscurity, and people won't understand what you do or why you do it. There's countless numbers of times in which I've sacrificed such things, only to pour 6 to 8 hours into working on what I believe is my golden gemstone, a novel that I believe will open the mind's eye of millions across the world and eventually provide me with the threshold of stability that I seek and desire. Many won't sacrifice these things, and to most, being comfortable is enough and always will be. But if the future you is what you seek, then I challenge you to look forward through thorny briar and nails, displacing the dark, bitter kiss of immediate gratification. Aside from eluding distractions, wouldn't you like to be remembered, even if it's just for 100 years or maybe even less, until long after your name's faded from your tombstone? And not being remembered in the sense of wanting to cement your own legacy simply for namesake, though that may be a byproduct of it, but how you change the course of society, your craft, or simply became a positive agent of change in another's life and passed the scroll onwards, whether it was with intent or not. When you put that pen to paper, who or what are you thinking of? Words are influential and can ignite that same bristling spark in another. The salvage is just enough embers for them to light their own path. And yet another reason to create, to suppress the whispers of self-doubt. I hear the voices. Get out of my head.
Get out of my head. Get out of my head. No, nobody's messing with your head.
Don't listen to them. If you fear your medium of creation being ripped and torn to hell by harsh critique and lack faith in your own ability to bring your ideas to life, then I would encourage you to continue pushing forward. Push forward and just do it.
Do it! Just do it!
If you can find the strength to endure and make amends with critiques, you'll find a heart ironed with confidence that you didn't know was beating inside you all along. Specifically, when you find your desire to grasp that twinkling star of hope, your diamond jewel supersedes the fear of judgment and critique that every soul, free and willing, has the right to enact. Be confident in your ability to create. Have the fortitude and the nerve to uproot the standard of what is and what should be with your own unique ingenuity. Understand that you are not alone when questioning whether or not you have the capacity to achieve these things. I myself started writing about 4 to 5 years ago, and sometimes I even question if I've cleaved off enough time, if I have enough conviction to breathe life into this wild dream of mine. But just like any dream or idea, action and discipline must be maintained to weigh if the fruit, sour or honey sweet, was worth the coin spent to bear the tree. And what better opportunity to practice focus and discipline in the world of distractions that have us spinning our heads like hamsters rounding a wheel, waiting for the next seedling to drop from the pipe, than through creation. And you may be shamed. You may be drawn from your purpose towards the pillar of immediate gratification. I set aside time 2 to 3 hours a day, sometimes intermittently during school, whenever I get a free moment to work on my craft. Remember how precious I said time was. You have 24 hours in a day. 8 are spent at school, 8, or in my case 6, are spent sleeping, and 1 hour for lunch and dinner minus studying and exercising. That leaves about 7 to 8 hours of free time for me, and less if you have a family or children to take care of. Whenever you feel that cold, spiny hand of procrastination dragging you back to that popcorn grease seat before the unholy altar where you were sent to watch Kim K throw vases against the wall, Ask yourself, what path will this road of leisure lead me down? The key is consistency. Be consistent in your love for your creation. Be consistent in enduring the thrashings of distractions. Be consistent in your words. Be consistent in your actions. Find focus where fog blurs the line for others. And such discipline will spill out into other sections of your life and sprinkle the seedlings of growth, a fruit to bear that's sweet and gush. Another reason for why you should write your story, well, your own free will. You are freer than most, I would assume, and you have a story to tell, a canvas to paint, a dress to etch or sew, ideas that can yield results that may forever shift the axis of someone's life. Why rob yourself of that chance? Why rob others of that chance? My community is small, but if you're interested in sharing on my channel what your creation is or simply what you're pursuing and why, feel free to leave a comment below and we'll set something up. You should go forth and write something that would make Tolkien piss out rainbows. Paint something that would have Da Vinci stroking the drum of his brush, and create till your fingers tingle numb, till you fall asleep standing up, till you have to no longer answer to that still-hearted machine. Once again, if you are interested in coming on to talk about your own pursuits or creations, whether that be a book, a dream, a goal, a sketch, a comic, a painting, etc., leave a comment below expressing your interest. I will leave a link to my socials in the description below. And if you took something of value from this video, I want you to pause and take a moment to hit that subscription button below and like the video. It pushes these videos out so that others can take these key tokens that you've gained. So do your fellow comrades a favor. And with that, remember, if ever you're lost in a forestry of words, strip your mind from fantasy and look to the window of the world. And there, your mind will run free.